Well, I would like to apologize in advance for the 5-minute rant Chris is going to go on for saying the exact same thing he said the last two episodes for the Oscars. But this week should be a good one because in reality, how did a rom-com be a highly critical and amazing movie? Because this week we're talking movies. We're talking Shakespeare in Love versus Saving Private Ryan.
Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Hollywood where we lay our seed. From ancient grudge breaks to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie? So with the Oscars coming up and our Oscar show coming out next week, we are at the end of our kind of versus did they deserve it, did they not? And considering that the Saving Private Ryan versus Shakespeare in Love Best Picture debacle, whatever you want to call it, is considered one of the biggest upsets in Oscar history, I think it's good that we're talking about it. And that quote I opened with, that one that I kind of jigged from Romeo and Juliet, I've been waiting like 4 weeks to put these two movies together and then to use that quote. All right, Scott, like you said, so we don't turn this into the fucking Chris Cry show again. Why don't you take us away on what you think?
Well, one, when you did Romeo and Juliet episode, why didn't you just fucking say that quote during that instead of having to wait now?
Because I was able to like take Shakespeare, use it with a film about Shakespeare, but also talks about conflict. You know, Miramax versus, well, I guess it's Weinstein versus Spielberg, two houses, both of dignity. Although I would say that Spielberg, especially now, way more dignity than fucking Harvey Weinstein. But we're not going to do too much of that on this show. Not too much.
Okay. Yeah. Like,
by the way, Harvey Weinstein's rapey. So rapey. Okay, go.
Okay. Like, yeah, right when I'm about to talk, you throw the fucking every episode, you throw this shit out there that fucking throws me off every time.
Oh, by the way, fuck the Academy one last time. Fuck you. All the big directors, everybody's coming back out. Put the fucking craft fucking positions back in the broadcast. Okay, now he can go start.
Why did you just say you just want the fucking craft services in the Oscars? You like, I want to see the fucking catering. I want to see before every commercial break, I want to see what every actor is eating and drinking.
Cool. This coffee smells like shit.
It is shit, Austin.
Well, because they're craft, but they're not craft services. Craft services are literally what you just talked about, sandwiches and fucking pop and stuff. So
yeah, well, why don't they get an award? Best meal on set.
Because not everybody on set gets the same meal, so that would be a tough one. It's like, oh, A-list actor, that's some nice lobster you're looking, because I'm eating yet another fucking overwarmed sandwich.
This some serious gourmet shit.
Like, before we start, so Shakespeare in Love is a rom-com, right?
100%. I was thinking that too. I'm like, wow, little engine that could, because this is like Pretty Woman winning a fucking Oscar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, rated R. It was rated R because for the nudity, but yeah. So give or take, this was a rom-com. Now, I'm sure in your research notes, is this the first rom-com technically to win Best Picture or no?
I guess it depends on what you consider, because Annie Hall by Woody Allen also won Best Picture, and it's like that's a comedy. It is romance, but I don't know if you would consider it a romantic comedy. But it's not the first. But there's very few of them, right? So it goes to kind of where you're leading in your intro. How much money did Weinstein pay off? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the how, but let's just talk about. So what's your position? I mean, I feel like I know your position.
If I had to go like 1-2, I would have picked Saving Private Ryan number 1, Life is Beautiful number 2, and then put this number 3.
I would actually. Can I do my list? Just do like so I'm with you. I think that Saving Private Ryan's number 1. Then you got Life is Beautiful #2. Then Elizabeth. And the Thin. I like the Elizabeth, but the Thin Red Line. The Thin Red Line's a bit of a mess from a directorial standpoint. So I put Elizabeth, which I very much like. I also like the second one, Elizabeth: The Golden Age. But which actually Elizabeth also has. Is it Ralph Fiennes? Oh no, it's Joseph Fiennes. It's
the brothers, right?
Yeah, he's actually both in Elizabeth and Shakespeare in Love. But I would put Shakespeare in Love like in the like second or the last place, depending on how you want to go with the Thin Red Line. Like, there's no way, like there is no fucking reason for this movie to be. I mean, you could even argue if we really dug into it, like that it even deserves to be on the Best Picture list at all. But if it's going to be on there, it doesn't win. And I don't think anybody fucking thought this thing was going to win except fucking Harvey Weinstein. And that's because he pulled some specific levers to make it happen, right?
Yeah, like I get that, Life is Beautiful didn't win.
It won Best International though.
Yeah, but that was the thing, like up until Parasite, right? Like anything that was international, it might creep into Best Picture, but they never had a chance. It was pretty much, if it was on the Best Picture list, it was going to win the Best International, and that's their thing, right? Like,
yep.
To me, like in terms of Oscar broadcasts, this is one of my favorite Oscar broadcasts this year. Like when Roberto Benigni won for Best Actor, and he's literally fucking climbing over seats, like just joyed, right? Going out there, like tearing up, like thanking, like that.
Well, kind of similar to what you just said about like the international picture. Like you get into that class, like there's a lot of times like the international actor doesn't even get the nomination. Mm-hmm. So you're like, okay, it's cool to be here, and then all of a sudden they like fucking for Best Actor, like one of the biggest fucking awards. So yeah, he was going fucking crazy.
Yeah, like I think he deserves it. Like I love Life is Beautiful. Like it is one of my favorite films on there, right? And it tugs at that heartstring. But
that's the emotional hook, right? The one that I was that I was talking about in the last show.
Yeah, but this one we're not talking about. I should have won because there was no. It wasn't on the list. It was, you specifically said Shakespeare or Ryan.
Yep,
right.
100%.
Now, yeah, seeing both of them again recently with these eyes, yeah, like I still don't get how, like Shakespeare in Love took me 2 days to watch. Like I had to take a break, and I usually don't take breaks.
I mean, I really like Shakespeare in Love, obviously, right? Like I like rom-coms. It's a well-written rom-com. It's got tons of like fun Shakespeare, Elizabethan stuff going on in it. It's super clever. Like it's a good film. Like it's a great, like chilling out, put it on again, like, but so you've got Shakespeare in Love, and then you have basically the recreation of the Omaha beach landing during the Second World War with 1,500 extras that was so fucking realistic that World War II vets not only said it was the most realistic depiction of combat, but like some of them, including Vietnam vets, had to like get up and fucking leave. Like that's how like real it felt. Like handheld, fucking gritty and grainy. Like, so like just that, like just as soon as I put on the fucking film, because I actually purposely watched Shakespeare first, right? And I'm like, okay,
same here.
I did. I put on fucking Saving Ryan, and I mean, so actually, like the very beginning of Saving Private Ryan is badly done. It's overly sentimental. His overly like white blonde haired family, like all of that, I would have just taken that out. I would have reshot that a little bit different.
I'll get like to go the outer like devil's advocate. Sorry, I like that beginning because of the way Spielberg sets it up in terms of, that scene ending in the close-up of his eyes and then coming out, and you got the close-ups of Tom Hanks' eyes, and you think you're thinking it's Tom Hanks the whole time, right?
The camera setup like right before we transition back to the landing, I like, but there's that like minute and a half of like the walk up, and like the kids are behind him taking. I just thought that was weird. I almost would have just started with him there, and then when the film ends, have the family come in, and then he can go like, did I honor your wishes? You know what I mean? Anyway, I digress. So, like you said, you fucking boom, it's Tom Hanks' eyes, people puking over the fucking side of their landing crafts, and then bang, German machine gun fire, boom, 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 people picking up their fucking arms. Like, my grandfather was at Normandy. He's the only one that, I say this all the time when we talk about this stuff, like, he's the only one who have survived his like tank coming up through the Low Country. The Canadians, had a big part of the D-Day landing at Juno Beach and stuff like that. We actually obtained and held our D-Day objectives. Right there, I was like, this is it. This fucking, the competition is fucking over. But so Harvey Weinstein had he had a couple different things that he used to try and win. And one of them was like a whisper campaign. Basically, he was like trashing, to anybody who would listen, that Saving Private Ryan is only that beach landing, right? Like that once you get past that, the film kind of lags out and it's not very good. And interesting, Steven Spielberg's PR team knew that Harvey Weinstein was starting to play like a bit of dirty pool. It's according to all the interviews I read, Spielberg said, like, I will not get into the dirt with Harvey Weinstein. Like, that's just not who I am, and I'm just not going to do that. And his PR team, after they lost, was basically like, never again will I let Harvey Weinstein do that to us. Like be willing to just like do whatever it takes to win. But so I was very like, I very much was like, so I got to the 15, 20 minute mark. Basically, once they got out of the beaches, I'm like, okay, let's see if Harvey Weinstein was right. He's so fucking wrong. Like, there's great little performances from like Jeff Daniels and like all these other, or not Jeff Daniels, what's his name from Cheers?
Ted Danson.
Jeff Daniels. It's not Dumb and Dumber.
I was thinking, I'm like, was he in this?
We successfully mated a bulldog with a Shih Tzu. Yeah, we called it a bullshit.
Did I miss that?
There were so many fucking people, man. Like, there's all these just like little cameos and stuff, and like, yeah, it gets. Well, go ahead.
Like, I was gonna say, is it like Paul Giamatti?
Yeah,
like we're watching.
He was great in that. It's like the airborne sergeant or whatever.
Yeah,
and
then him knocking over the wall and shit like that. But that's the thing I was thinking at the time when this movie came out. Was he?
Oh, big enough that it was a cameo?
Yes. Like, I think it was just like building blocks. Like,
sure, but Ted Danson, 100% that's a cameo.
Ted Danson, yeah, he had 3 Men and a Baby. That guy was rocking. Yeah. He had Fathers.
He'd done that little show called fucking Cheers that some people would watch. So, like, other than like, I mean, sometimes it's a bit rah like America, but I mean, like, it's Steven Spielberg making an American war movie. Like, it's gonna. But I mean, the feeling of war was very palatable and tangible and stuff. And like, Shakespeare in Love is fucking cotton candy. Like it's fun. Like, I mean, like I said, I like, but like, literally one person recreated one of the biggest amphibious landings in the history of warfare, and the other one did cotton candy movie. And somehow
he recreated that theater, the old theater.
The Rose. But
in the costuming.
I mean, so you got Saving Private Ryan has a $70 million budget, does 482 at the box office. And then you got Shakespeare in Love. I'm actually surprised. $25 million to make, does 289. I mean, some of that was after it got its Oscar nomination. But I mean, like you usually say, I think some of this was the cast, because you got Josephine, Gwyneth Paltrow, Jeffrey Rush, Colin Firth.
Gwyneth wasn't Gwyneth. Like, this is what made Gwyneth.
But Judi Dench was. Jeffrey Rush and Colin Firth were already, bigger names in Britain and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, in Britain, but not here.
Yeah, not in real land, right?
Yeah, but they are now. But yeah.
But even when I look at you do the matchup, right? Like fantasy football kind of thing. So you got director Steven Spielberg versus John Madden, who's known for The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel 1 and 2. Fine, perfectly fine movie, but one of those people is Steven Spielberg. Advantage, Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying, like doing the checklist, but I don't think somebody's body, like putting up Spielberg against anybody, I don't think that's fair, to be honest. Because, like you said, it's fucking Spielberg.
We're not worthy.
And I think he is.
But I can do it. Like, I'll let you finish your statement. But I can do that with the DOP. I can do that with the fucking editor. Like, I can move down some of these other people. Like,
yeah, but
everybody that worked on Saving Private Ryan was fucking amazing.
Yes, no, I agree. But I think as well, budget is a part of it, right? Like,
sure.
And I think not only budget but reputation, having, and this was Spielberg's first, right? Oscar for Best Director, or was it Schindler's?
Schindler's List.
But did he win for Schindler's? I thought I won Best Picture, but he didn't win Best Director.
I'd have to look that up. Anyway, you
do that.
Yeah.
This is what happens when our producer is off for the week.
Yeah. I got to do this on the fly.
But yeah, I think at one point you get to the point where you're just like, you're a fucking Tom Cruise and you're not Maverick, right? You're just like, I'm gonna get every little like part I can to try to get my Oscar. So he's in Magnolia, he, Last Samurai, like whatever thing to go against type.
Schindler's List, 1994, Best Director, went to Spielberg.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think you can compare somebody who didn't win Best Director to one that did.
Well, you can go, you've got Jancis Kaminski, who has been nominated for Schindler. This is the DOP, Schindler's List, Amistad, Diving Bell and the Butterfly. Like, the guy's got like fucking 8 fucking Oscar nods for cinematography. The editor, Michael Kahn, Close Encounters of a Third Kind, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Fatal Attraction, Schindler's List, Munich, Lincoln, also all Oscar nods, basically against like 3 guys in a fucking trench coat. And somehow they win Best Picture. I'm not saying you cannot do those things. You can have people that like, because sometimes you got to be the person that's your first Oscar. But like, this is 100% was Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein got this by like talking shit about the film in like all the publications he could, taking out tons of ads, and it was kind of, I don't want to say it was the first time that people like actively campaigned, but nobody had campaigned the way Harvey did. Now, that's how campaigns are done. But like Harvey was contacted. So first off, you have to understand how the Academy picks its Best Picture, right? So there's the list of films that, qualify. And unlike, the different departments, every Academy member, which I think at the time was like 3,000 people, I think it's up to 9 now, is allowed to vote. So fucking Harvey Weinstein basically was like openly campaigning, like contacting people, inviting people to parties and screenings and like giving out gifts and stuff. And so he'd throw in the like a certain amount of just like normie regular people to be like, no, what are you talking about? This isn't an Oscar party. It's just like a party. And there just has to happen to be 500 Academy members here. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. He was doing like shady ass shit. And I mean, there was the 2015 poll done of Academy members, and like most of them were like, oh yeah, if I was voting right now, like Saving Private Ryan wins this every day and twice on fucking Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. That's what I said at the beginning. But but fuck, I'm just thinking like, how bad were those parties back then, eh?
How bad would they have been?
I was gonna say like how much coke.
Oh yeah.
How much coke can he eat, and just be like, listen, here's the pictures.
More like, so you're gonna vote for this and we'll take care of you kind of thing. Like, yeah. I don't know if it was direct payola, like money in your fucking pocket, but like hookers and blow go a long way to like swaying something between 2 different fucking movies.
No, but this film is what launched Weinstein Company, right? This is what made them split from Miramax, right? And just make their own.
Again, I have to look into that because I believe so. Miramax is named after Miriam and Max. It's named after the Weinstein brothers' mom and dad. It was their company. But I believe that like didn't it like Disney or something like that? Like a big
buy it, yeah. Somebody buy it.
And then they like didn't have the same creative control, obviously. And so then they were like, fuck you. And then they rolled out and did Weinstein Company. I don't know if it was because of this film. Again, I would have to look into that, and our producer's not here, so we'll get back. I'll get back.
You're supposed to be the research guy, man.
Fuck, man, I got a ton of research here. I just don't have the research that you have. Like, you're asking these questions.
I'm asking the questions the audience wants to know. Like,
I mean,
how big was his bathrobe at these parties?
Oh, okay. Again, bit offside there. Saving Private Ryan won the Oscar for cinematography. It won it, like Spielberg won Best Directing. It won editing. It also won sound design and sound editing. But like, it won all this. So all this stuff that you have, it didn't win Best Screenplay. That did go to Shakespeare in Love. And I do think the screenplay for Shakespeare in Love is better. Like, there's better dialogue and stuff like that. It's fine. But so it was better directed, it was better shot, it was better edited. And somehow it doesn't win fucking Best Picture. It's like we're back to Brokeback Mountain fucking territory. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I said the other movie should have won Brokeback. I told you Crash should have won. Because of the can. It's a can movement.
Can.
Yeah, the only can I have is that Barry Peppers, one of the actors in Saving Private Ryan, is from British Columbia. So
Yeah, he was the sniper.
Thanks, Barry.
No worries. But yeah, it was fun to watch. And that's the thing that, especially like, I think this period of Spielberg is when you have like the up and coming actors at the time, and he casts them, right? Like Vince Vaughn after Swingers is now in The Lost World, Jurassic Park, or Vin Diesel after, I think this was after his Man Apart movie, his dramatic movie. Spielberg put him in this. Peppers
he did really well in this, actually.
Yeah. It was like, because it's been a while since I watched this movie, and I remembered who died and who didn't, and but my order was completely wrong, because I thought he died later on. I didn't realize, like, spoiler, he was the first soldier to die on the way.
And actually, I would say that like that is one of the most emotionally like hooky moments, is like, because it feels very personal, right? Because he's got the kid, spoiler, 1990s film, you know, he's got the kid, and he's like, and you're waiting because you're like, fuck, man, like, you stop, and then bang.
The minute he takes off his helmet, you're like, what the fuck?
and then he like he slowly
dies.
Like, he's so close, right? But the sniper, until they kill the sniper, they can't get to him. And then he's like, you know, send this letter to my dad and get the blood off. And like, you're like, and it's raining. Like, that's the Oscar moment, right? Like, that's the like, and the Oscars for Best Picture nominations are, and that's the scene you should show, right?
No, it would have been Giovanni's death, Ribisi's death, right? The medic, when they're like, just tell us how to help you, and he's like, and he was like, okay, is the bullet this big? And then once they tell him everything, he knows he's fucked. He's like, I can do just more morphine.
Yeah, and they just keep fucking. Yeah, and then isn't he just like? Is he saying like mommy or something like that?
Yeah, at the end. Yeah.
I want to see my mom. Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. And even the killing of Adam Goldberg, right? It's so slow. The German soldier with the like knife on top of him, and he's like, come on, man, come on, kid, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. And he just like fucking pushes it. It's so personal, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it was. Yeah, it was interesting. A little side note, actor Jeffrey Davis, who plays the corporal, like the I was in a room with him once.
Did you fart this time too?
No. It was for we were in Vegas for my 5-year wedding anniversary, and I was at like the what's the one you throw craps? We're at the craps table. Yeah. And like our table was like 1 to 5 bets, like $1 to $5 bets.
Yeah.
And the table behind us was like 1,000 to 10,000. And him and a bunch of other actors were at that table just fucking like throwing dice, like
literally throwing away money away. Right?
Yeah. And I'm just like, and the whole time I was like, I was going to like my wife and the other people were there. I'm like, I know this fucker. And then it clued in from this movie. I was like, he was the guy that fucking cried in the stairwell.
Yeah, you're like, your buddy died because of you fucking asshole.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
And now you're just throwing money away like it doesn't even matter.
He's like, oh, fuck, the life insurance. He switched to life insurance. But no, it was fun to watch. Like these actors just fucking throwing dimes. Like it was nothing.
Let's just play craps, man. Come on, let's go. Come on.
One day, Chris. One day.
Yeah, one day, hopefully. Hey, if you want to, pay us, $50 million for a podcast, Spotify, like we'll give you a crazy deal. 50 million is the deal. Like that's way less than you paid Joe Rogan. So
I was gonna say, like, you can't go in lowball, man. Like, this
I'll
is
be
why you're not
honest,
in sales.
like
if you just go like, hey, we'll go 50. Listen, $50. Just pay us $50.
$50. Be like, listen, we got mouths to feed over here.
Help me, I'm poor.
Honestly, like I said, I think this is a pretty easy win for Saving Private Ryan. Like, I don't think anybody to this point. I mean, there's still some pundits out there that if you read their articles, they'll say like, Spielberg kind of like, again, the whole 15 minutes thing. Like, it was kind of like after the first 15 minutes, it's kind of a genre picture, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, but do you watch the way it's shot? Like, it's fucking amazing. Like, it's amazing. Like, I'm still in awe. Remember, they're also shooting on film. And I always like to remind people that, like, this motherfucker shot on film. So, like, the DOP did stuff like, they wanted to give it that kind of World War II film reel feel. So they stripped all the, like, protective coating off the film. So it would develop different in the, like, it would expose different in the camera. And they're like but they're also carrying fucking film around.
Yes, science.
Right? They're not just shooting on like fucking big digital cameras. They're like shooting with all these film and all the fucking equipment that goes with it and all the hassle, film canisters, all that type of stuff. But that fucking beach landing is amazing. It is amazing.
See, you're just proving the point though. Because you're like, it's just that one thing and that's it. But it is amazing. But I think
you see Dutch camera angles, you see like just the way they frame everything up. Some of the editing back and forth is really beautiful.
Yeah, I think some of the direction, like what Spielberg did as well, like in terms of the casting, right? Like all the cast, with the exception of Matt Damon, had like three weeks or 3 months of basic training they had to do. Yeah. And it was pretty much the fact that they knew Matt Damon didn't have to do it. So he was the guy that they hated, right? Like, we got to go through all this and this fucker doesn't have to do all this stuff. So all the animosity that their characters would have had with fucking going to save a guy that they don't know and wasn't in the trenches with them, right? It's on there, right? That's why you feel Edward Burns when he's like, hey, asshole, 2 people died on the way here to get you, right?
So they have no bond with him as an as an actor or as a person, right? So you can, like you said, you can kind of keep that animosity going, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like us.
Just like us.
We started in the same room. Now it's Zoom, man. We just can't fucking do it anymore.
That's why we got to do Zoom. Yeah, man. I mean, we don't need to make this podcast longer than it is just for the sake of doing it, but I think we're actually in agreement that Harvey Weinstein basically, it kind of leads, and I'm going to talk about this a bit more when we do our Oscar shows to make sure everybody turns into the Oscar show next week. When you say you like to make fun of me, it's like, oh, look at Chris thinks he knows better than the Academy. I'm like, because the Academy, it's like, this is a perfect example. The Academy doesn't always get it right, but Chris does.
Well, Chris is hindsight 2020 though, right? Right.
I wasn't at one of the, it might have been different if I was at one of those parties and they were like fucking shelling out goodies and stuff. I mean, Saving Private who? Never fucking heard of him, man. I don't even know who this fucking Steven Spielberg is. I heard
you'd be like, it's a travesty that Joseph Fiennes is not Best Actor. It is a fucking travesty.
They should win everything.
It'd be like, I need a write-in actor. I'm like, where's the spot?
They're writing everything.
We're just gonna cross out these people. But yeah, no, it is good, and we'll get into it on our episode next week. But that's the thing I kind of miss with the old TV guides.
How could you let her take the TV guide?
He collects them.
Right now was when they had all the categories and you can just check off the thing, and then you'd watch the Oscars and see how many you got right. That was my favorite.
You can still just do that.
No, it's all about the TV guide, man. The TV guide.
Because it doesn't come in a little book that. Didn't you have to buy TV Guide as well? Like, I can't remember if you got it for free or not. I feel like it was something that you purchased at the grocery store.
I don't remember.
Like the from actual TV Guide.
No, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But from what I don't know. Maybe my parents had a subscription. I remember it like just in the
Oh,
mail.
la-di-da. Look at you.
No, I'm just saying I remember it in the mail, but I remember seeing it at the grocery stores as well, right? So maybe they just, fucking did the back subscription and that was it, right?
Yeah.
That's what happened when the fucking digital and the boxes and the guides started happening. Got rid of the TV guide, man.
It did. Now you can just watch whatever you want whenever you want. You don't even have to get a guide.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all for me this week. We are going to be dressed to impress next week for our Oscar prediction show. So don't forget to tune in.
Or watch. And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com.
So from my, I've seen all the big category stuff. I've seen all that from my wild card. So I've seen, for example, like I went and saw Drive My Car. We're not going to talk about it, but like I've put in the work. Yet again, things I do for our fucking fan base. Do as a proper film critic, I do the hard work of sitting on my ass and watching long movies.
I was gonna say it's like 2.5 hours, right? Almost 3 hours. So.
Yeah, it's a long movie.
But it's also available to rent for $6.99.
I mean, I try to support our local cinemas, right? Like, I'm doing my part for the community too, man. I'm helping everybody. I'm helping everybody with my money.
And you probably go with that Ava Mac thing, being like, "Hey guys, I won at your thing, right?"